Hello. Um, in this video, we are going to take a look at some legal concepts related to family law, and I'm going to help you understand how to refer to them in Spanish. Okay? My name is Jose Jasso. I'm a dual qualified attorney in the state of New York and in Mexico, and I'm here to help you better communicate with Spanish speaking clients. Okay? So, let's begin. This is part one, but first, please help me by subscribing to the channel and turning on the notifications bell so that you can help me produce more content like this. Okay, so let's begin. Okay, so let's begin with this explanation of legal terminology in Spanish for family law concepts. Okay, so let's begin with marriage. Marriage in Spanish is matrimonio. That's the translation. It's very easy. It's almost a literal translation. Now, we have the concept of common law marriage. Generally, and depending on the jurisdiction or the state you are located in, common law marriage is when two parties live together as a married couple for a certain period of time as specified in the local statute, and that is without any legal formality or any marriage license or proceeding, and the law will consider it as a marriage. There's no such thing in Spanish, but we can use a very similar concept called concubinato. Concubinato in Spanish speaking jurisdictions refers to the union between a man and a woman, or may also be between same sex couples that have not been married but live together, and they act as if they were married, and after a certain period of time, the consequences of such union will be very similar to those of marriage. So we can use the word concubinato to translate what's a common law marriage. Okay. Now, what are the impediments of marriage? These will vary by state, by jurisdiction in the United States, but these are some general impediments that may apply. So this in Spanish will be impedimentos. Right? So it's also a very literal translation. The first one is age. That's going to be edad. Second, mental or physical incapacity. In Spanish, incapacidad mental o física. Third, consanguinity, or also called incest. Consanguinidad, or incest in Spanish, incesto. That's also a very literal translation. And prior marriage or bigamy would be matrimonio previo, also called bigamia. Okay, so those would be the translation of this impediments to Spanish. Now, marriages may be declared null or void, and those are some concepts that we're going to translate next. The declaration of nullity and annulment of marriage. In Spanish, declaración de nulidad de matrimonio. So these two words, nullity and annulment, we will use the same word in Spanish, nulidad, because we can separate them as nulidad y anulación, but it would be redundant in Spanish to say it that way. So I will just keep one word, would be nulidad. And we will understand the two differences next in Spanish. So first is void marriages. Those are matrimonios nulos. A marriage is void ab initio, from the beginning, if it's incestuous, bigamous, and in these cases, depending on the state, but generally speaking, no judicial order is needed, right? So in Spanish, we will translate this as un matrimonio es nulo. We can use the same words in Latin if we want to refer ab initio, which in Spanish means desde el inicio. Desde el inicio, or also desde el principio. Okay? And these marriages that are void ab initio are generally the marriages that include incesto, bigamia, y no se necesita orden judicial. That would be no judicial order is needed. Okay? Now, voidable marriages. Matrimonios que se pueden anular. Okay? So, when a marriage is only voidable and not void, a petition for annulment must be brought seeking a judicial determination that the marriage be declared void. Okay? So in Spanish, cuando un matrimonio es anulable y no nulo, una petición de nulidad se debe buscar para obtener una declaración judicial de que el matrimonio se declare nulo. Okay? So that would be the translation in Spanish. So there's a difference between void marriages and voidable marriages. If you would like to get more technical on this, so in Spanish there would be a conceptual difference, legally speaking, depending on the jurisdiction. But in Spanish-speaking jurisdictions, we would call void marriages those marriages that have what's called nulidad absoluta. Okay? And voidable marriages, we would call this nulidad relativa. But this is a very legal, technical concept. So for purposes of translation, I don't think it's necessary to go that far. Those would be the applicable concepts in Spanish-speaking jurisdictions. But I repeat, I don't think for purposes of translation or getting yourself understood in Spanish before a potential client or a client, going that far is that necessary. So I would just leave that as I said before, matrimonios nulos, or That would be those would be void marriages or matrimonios que se pueden anular for voidable marriages. Okay? So, what are your thoughts? Please help me with your comments below. And if you like this video, please give it a like. I'm also leaving in the description below a link to the legal Spanish guide that I prepared. I hope it can help you better understand Spanish legal terminology. Please download it if you feel willing to do so. And see you next time.